Flying isn't what it used to be. In 2025, airports have become a minefield of unspoken rules that few people know about, and they can cost you time, money, and even your flight. What used to be normal has now turned into a maze of strict rules, from everyday items in your luggage to how you dress or act while waiting at security checkpoints. In this video, you'll find out about 11 changes that will surprise even the most experienced travelers, the ones who have already stamped their passport 1,000 times. Some might seem like small details, but in just a few minutes, they can turn into your worst nightmare. Stick around until the end, because what I'm about to tell you could save you a lot of headaches, mishaps, and a good chunk of cash on your next trip. Number 1. The toothpaste trap. Let's start with something so common it seems impossible it could be a problem. Your toothpaste. Imagine you get to the security checkpoint at an international airport, feeling confident because you've been traveling for years and you know the rules for liquids. You put your toiletry bag on the tray and suddenly, an agent pulls it aside. You get called over, the item is checked, and they show you a seemingly normal tube of toothpaste. The label says 136 grams, which goes over the allowed limit of 100 milliliters. At this point, it doesn't matter if it's an everyday item or if you've gotten away with something similar on past trips. In 2025, the rule is followed to the letter, no bending the rules, as they say. The new scanners don't rely on guesswork or the officer's experience. What matters is only what's on the label. And if that number, even by a tiny bit, goes over the limit, the product will be taken away. This causes even more confusion, as many brands show net weight instead of volume, which can trick travelers. Even hotel amenity kits, which used to go unnoticed, now have to follow the exact rule. The key advice is clear. If your container doesn't clearly say 100 milliliters or if it's very close to the limit, transfer the contents into a small travel bottle. The way the container looks doesn't matter, only the printed value counts. What seems like a small detail can hold you up, make you lose expensive products, and even lead to an extra check. Travelers in a hurry usually underestimate these rules, but in 2025, every milliliter counts. You can't mess around. A toothpaste, a tube of cream, or a bottle of gel can become the hurdle that messes up your smooth travel experience. 2. The real ID requirement in the United States. Picture this. You get to Denver Airport with your suitcase, your boarding pass, and you're sure you've done this dozens of times before. You hand your driver's license to the security agent, and suddenly the answer is aloud, "I'm sorry, this document isn't valid." Starting in May 2025, every passenger who wants to fly within the United States, even for domestic flights, will need to show a document called a real ID. This document has a small gold star in the top corner, a detail that many travelers often miss. Without this star, your regular driver's license won't be accepted for boarding anymore. The thing is, most states issue two versions of driver's licenses, a regular one and a real ID. Besides this tiny, almost invisible symbol, they look exactly the same. This means a lot of people think they're ready when really they're not. The worst part is when the traveler finds this out at the last minute at the counter and they don't have a passport or military ID handy. In that case, there's no talking your way out of it. You won't get on the plane. The most frustrating thing is that it doesn't matter if you've flown recently with the same document. The new rules are set in stone. The best advice is to take action early. Check your driver's license right away. Look for that star. And if you don't see it, book a visit to your state's Department of Motor Vehicles as soon as possible. Remember, wait times are long and requests will pile up as the deadline gets closer. Don't rely on your old document because on the day of your trip, it'll be too late. A small symbol can make all the difference between flying smoothly or being stuck on the ground, watching your flight take off without you. Number 3, carry-on bags under the microscope. You're at the boarding gate, happy as can be because you made it through security without a hitch. You think the worst is over, but at the counter, an agent asks you to put your carry-on bag in that metal sizer. Your heart jumps when you realize the wheels stick out by just a few inches. The agent doesn't hesitate. You'll have to pay a checked bag fee right there, at the gate. In 2025, this is happening more and more. Airlines, feeling the pinch from high fuel costs and not enough space in the overhead bins, have started to enforce their size rules super strictly again. This is especially true with cheaper tickets and on low-cost flights, where every extra inch means an extra charge. The unfair part is that many passengers have already passed security without issues, and only find out about this surprise at the gate when it's too late. The fee, which is around 60 or 70 euros, stings even more. Plus, not all planes have the same overhead bins. Newer models often have less space than you'd think, So what used to fit might not anymore. The most common mistake is thinking that if the maker says your suitcase is a carry-on, it'll be accepted, because the allowed sizes vary between airlines. To avoid problems, measure your suitcase at home, check your airline's website, and leave a little wiggle room. Don't overpack it and avoid extra handles or pockets that stick out too much, because those small things can stop it from fitting. 2 centimeters and a strict agent can ruin your trip before you even take off. 4. Attitude in security lines. It's not just what's in your suitcase, your behavior matters, and a lot. Imagine the scene. 6 in the morning at Fiumicino, and a stressed student arrives at security with a dark look on his face. He grumbles when they ask him to take off his shoes, mutters a lot of things, and rolls his eyes. Minutes later, without having done anything wrong, he's invited for an extra check. The reason? Well, in 2025, airport security has stepped up a system called behavioral detection. It observes attitudes, gestures, and even micro-expressions that can be interpreted as a risk signal. With the help of artificial intelligence, agents are now more attentive than ever to details, like the tone of your voice, impatience in your movements, or even excessive nervousness. And the most surprising thing is that you don't have to break any rules. Just appearing anxious, irritated, or evasive can attract attention. This system is being increasingly implemented due to rising tensions at airports. Even an out-of-place joke or a sarcastic comment can be interpreted as warning signs. The advice is simple, though sometimes hard to follow. Stay calm, cooperate, and respond neutrally, even if the line is long or the rules seem absurd. A calm and cooperative attitude is just as important as having the right luggage these days. How you react to agents can make the difference between continuing your journey smoothly or missing a precious flight due to an unfounded suspicion. 5th thing, restricted technology. We all love our tech. Cell phones, wireless earbuds, power banks, cameras, and even e-cigarettes. But in 2025, what you bring to stay online or have fun could turn into a problem at security. At Dallas Airport, a passenger, not knowing any better, puts their power bank and vape in the tray. The agent stops them. They'll have to take them out and carry them separately. The supervisor adds something worse. Some models are no longer allowed in the cabin. The reason is the fire risk caused by lithium batteries. In recent years, there have been more incidents of devices overheating during flights, even causing emergency landings. Because of this, the rules are now stricter and more detailed. External power banks that are over a certain capacity, vaping devices with lithium-ion parts, and even certain camera batteries are already on the no-fly list. And the most confusing thing is that many new or imported products don't clearly show their battery capacity, which gives agents room to take the device away just to be safe. To make things more complicated, some devices look suspicious on scanners, like smart pens or flashlights that look like weapons. The advice is clear. Any rechargeable device must go in your carry-on bag, never in checked luggage. Also, label your batteries, avoid brands without clear information, and if you're not sure, ask the airline. 6th, clothes that raise suspicions. It's not just what's in your backpack, but also how you dress that can get you into trouble. It's 7:40 in the morning at Miami Airport. A man wearing cargo pants with lots of pockets, a hoodie tied around his waist, and a t-shirt that says "Don't touch me," walks through the scanner. He doesn't say a word, but in a few seconds, an agent pulls him aside for a full pat-down. There are no forbidden items, no problems with identification, but something about his appearance made him suspicious. In 2025, agents aren't just trained to inspect luggage, but also to interpret clothing as a risk factor. Clothes that are too baggy, too many layers that hide your shape, or military-style clothes can instantly raise red flags. Even messages on t-shirts matter. Aggressive, political, or provocative slogans are seen as a potential risk. This isn't just about security. In an increasingly tense environment, looking out of place is enough for a closer inspection. The advice is simple: travel comfortably, but choose neutral clothes without controversial messages. Avoid hidden pockets, extra straps, or military styles. This doesn't mean you have to dress formally, but rather maintain an image that conveys calmness and neutrality. In the end, what you wear can say more than your words, and, as unfair as it may seem, your clothing can be the trigger for a delay, an unpleasant search, or even being denied boarding. In modern airports, simple clothing isn't just about comfort, but a smart travel strategy. 7. The last mistake at the boarding gate. You think you're all set, you've made it through security, checked out the duty-free, and maybe even bought a bottle of water at the terminal. But Right when it's time to board, the airline staff stops you. "Sir, you can't board with that." Surprised, you say, "But I bought it here, in the secure area." It doesn't matter. In 2025, airlines have made the rules stricter, and the boarding gate has become an extra checkpoint. Many find it crazy, but airlines say it's for safety, especially on international flights or smaller planes. An open bottle, even if it's just water, can make them suspicious. Some airlines have even brought back checks at the gate, looking for liquids, e-cigarettes, or snacks that haven't been checked. This catches passengers off guard, as they expect that after the main check, there won't be any more problems. The advice is to be careful. Keep your drinks sealed, and avoid buying any kind of drink right before boarding, especially from those kiosks near the gate. Even the most harmless things, like cookies or an open soda, can cause you to be delayed, or, in the worst case, stop you from boarding. The bottom line is clear. Until the very last minute, the checks don't stop. The gate is no longer just a waiting room. It's become the final filter. A bottle in your hand can turn into an unexpected hurdle between you and your seat. 8. Changes in family boarding. For years, traveling with kids had at least one good thing: you got to board first. It was a nice thing that helped stressed out parents handle strollers, diapers, and energetic kids without the pressure of a big crowd. But in 2025, things have changed. A mom shows up at the gate with her 2 kids. Sure, she'll board early, like always, but the worker calmly tells her, "I'm sorry, now only families with babies up to 2 years old get to board first." Her youngest child just turned 3, and all of a sudden, what seemed like an automatic right is gone. The truth is, many airlines have quietly changed their family boarding rules to make things faster and less crazy at the gate. Today, unless you're traveling with a baby or someone who needs special help, your family will have to wait in line with everyone else. Some airlines still let kids up to 5 years old check in early, but not many. Others don't make exceptions unless you pay for priority boarding. For parents, this change is a big hit. Handling strollers, car seats, and bags in a crowded aisle is much more stressful. The helpful tip is to find out before you travel. Check your airline's rules, get your kids ready to wait, and think about paying for priority boarding in case you're worried about not having enough space in the overhead bins. Because what used to be a sure thing today might turn out to be an unpleasant surprise right at the start of your trip. Number 9. Hidden rules for refunds. Imagine this: you buy a plane ticket feeling good because it says refundable. Days before your trip, your plans change and you go to the airline's website, sure you'll get your money back. But when you click cancel, a tiny message pops up: travel credit available. In 2025, this has become the normal. Airlines facing tight budgets and changing demand have quietly changed the rules for their tickets. The word refundable doesn't always mean you'll get your money back anymore. Some airlines need you to cancel at least 24 hours before to get a full refund. Others only give refunds if you bought the ticket directly from them, not from sites like Google Flights or Expedia. Even worse, sometimes all you get is a flight voucher, with rules about when and how you can use it. For travelers, this is a huge money risk. Thinking you can just cancel can lead to a lot of frustration and losing money. The main tip is to read every single rule before you buy, and if you can, buy directly from the airline. Take screenshots of the exact rules, because if there's a problem, this proof could be your only help. Don't trust what worked last year. In 2025, even that more expensive, safe ticket might have tiny print that has the final say. 10. The seat you pick matters more than you think. Picking your seat has always been about what you like, but in 2025, it's become a real strategy game. A while ago, if you didn't pay extra, the airline would just give you a seat, sometimes next to your travel buddies. Other times, not so much. Today, airlines have tightened their grip even more to get a few extra bucks out of you. A traveler buys an economy ticket, sure that they'll sit next to their sweetheart. At check-in, they find out they've been separated by a whole ocean of seats, and the only way to fix it is to pay to change. What a ripoff. Even worse, some free seats are put in bad spots, like at the very back of the plane, just to make you open your wallet. It's like pushing the passenger off a cliff, you know? Even if you're traveling alone, you might end up in a seat that doesn't lean back well, or even worse, right next to the bathroom. A nightmare for anyone who likes a good chat and some space. This isn't by accident, it's part of a more aggressive plan to make more money. My advice is, be smart. If your seat matters, pay for it when you buy your ticket. Don't wait. If you're traveling in a group, talk it over beforehand, because with basic fares, you're almost guaranteed to be separated. It's like going on a picnic and not being able to sit with your friends. It's a bummer. And don't forget, on long flights, a tight seat can ruin your whole trip. Nobody deserves to arrive at their destination feeling completely worn out, right? In 2025, this isn't a luxury anymore. It's a must-have to make sure you're comfy and calm. It's the least you can do, isn't it? The seat you pick or leave up to chance can make the difference between a smooth trip and hours of discomfort. Think about it before you start your next adventure. Now let's talk about biometric security at airports. The future is already here. In 2025, collecting biometric data is becoming a big part of how we travel in many airports around the world. Imagine this. You get to your boarding gate and you don't need to show your boarding pass or any paper ID. A camera scans your face and automatically lets you through. This might sound like something from a sci-fi movie, but it's becoming more and more real. Airports in the United States, Europe, and Asia are using these new ways to make boarding faster and cut down on human mistakes, but not everyone is happy about it. For some, it means things are quicker and more modern. For others, it feels like too much control and a threat to their privacy. Your face information is stored in big computer files that airlines and airport bosses share, which makes people wonder how this information will be used later. Also, not all travelers are sure that their information will be safe from computer hackers. My advice is, be ready. In some airports, you won't have a choice but to agree if you want to fly. Keep your old school papers handy just in case the system doesn't work, and find out before your trip which airports use these new ways. What used to be science fiction is now part of flying, and whether you like it or not, face scanning is changing how we get on a plane. Traveling in 2025 is way more than just getting to the airport early, my friend. The rules have changed, and now every little thing matters, from the size of your toothpaste tube to how you pick your seat. It's kind of like the life of a real traveler. Security isn't just about your bags anymore. It's about how you stand, what you wear, and even the tech you carry. It's almost like going through a fine-tooth comb at customs, but on a whole new level. Even the rules that used to seem clear, like refunds or family boarding, have become a box of surprises. It's like trying to understand the rules of a casual soccer game. The key is to get informed, plan ahead, and don't take anything for granted. Think like a good farmer. Slow and steady wins the race. What was true yesterday might not be true today. It's like the weather in Florida. It changes in the blink of an eye. So before you pack your bags or head to the boarding gate, check the updated rules for your airline and airport. It doesn't cost anything to take a peek at the website, right? A small mistake can be the reason you miss your flight. And at that point, my friend, there's no crying over spilled milk. And now tell me, which of these rules surprised you the most?